This video is sponsored by Squarespace. Huge thanks to those guys for supporting the channel.
We can argue all day about what the most functional exercises are, but I think that undoubtedly the most fundamental human movements have to be walking and running. It's what we do the most of in our daily lives. It's what the body is designed to do. There are so many huge benefits to running, and it goes far beyond cardio and just losing a bit of weight. It's actually a pet peeve of mine when you hear people saying that if you're not running a certain amount, there's no point because you're not going to be running further or lowering your times. That's not all that running is about. If you run just once a week, the benefits can be transformative. And that's what we're going to be talking about in this video. So of course, running is really good for cardio and burning fat, and there's this big argument as to whether it's as good as high intensity interval training. However, there are very different benefits to each. Whilst high intensity interval training can be really good for quickly burning calories and the afterburn effect, which we'll talk about, running for long distances, LISS, low intensity steady state cardio, is better for enlarging your heart. It improves your stroke volume and your Qmax, your quantified maximum cardiac output. And there are many more benefits that we're going to see in a minute.
That increased heart size and Qmax is valuable too. This is what leads to a lower resting heart rate, an important marker of overall health. Imagine receiving more blood and oxygen to your brain and muscle with every heartbeat. So many people are looking for a hack or a trick to quickly gain more energy, but the solution has been there all along. Run! On paper, HIIT provides a more efficient way to burn a similar number of calories in less time. Then there's the afterburn effect that sees the body burn more calories following a high intensity workout. But this often gets overstated. While the afterburn effect can increase calorie burn for around 1 to 2 hours post-exercise, studies suggest it's not enough to make any significant difference versus a comparable long run. And sure, you can burn more calories with HIIT more quickly, but don't be mistaken, this isn't the easy shortcut it might sound like. HIIT is called high intensity for a reason. These sessions are brutally taxing for most people, and I personally find running gently for 50 minutes to be less grueling and more appealing. And you can easily burn 800 calories or more in that time. That's enough to make a significant impact on your total calorie count for the entire week. None of this is to say that HIIT isn't useful. HIIT has its own merits. It's better for increasing mitochondrial count and function, for example. I'm just saying that you should do both. Ergo, everyone should run. But the real case I'm trying to make here is that running is about more than just burning calories and getting better at running.
But what's really game changing when it comes to long distance running is what it can do for your biomechanics, because it teaches you to run and move properly. We spend so long sitting in one place that not only do we get kyphosis, tight hip flexors, etc., we also forget how to move properly. We have weaker cores because we aren't using them throughout the day. Running encourages us to move properly. It strengthens our hips, which can prevent knee pain. It can help you to avoid injuring yourself or falling over. You have to keep your core straight and upright, especially if you're running in barefoot where more upright posture is encouraged. And this can be really game changing when it comes to the way you move and injury prevention.
If you sit at a desk for 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, then there's only so much benefit that you can get from doing 3 times 10 squats just a few times a week. The sitting is by far the largest stimulus. But running is essentially an extremely high volume exercise. That hip flexor strength is what will prevent you from dragging your feet when you reach old age, along with lifting your feet via the anterior tibialis, again for thousands of reps. And now let's take a moment to talk about today's sponsor, Squarespace. Squarespace is a powerful online platform for developing modern, attractive and professional websites. It gives you all the tools to easily create your own site with zero coding necessary. This way you can turn your passion into a business. Squarespace makes this easy with a number of features. Start generating revenue through gated members-only content, manage members, send email communications and leverage audience insights, all from a single, easy-to-use platform. You'll be able to build your own community of like-minded folks thanks to a fully integrated commenting system with support for threaded comments, replies and likes. With powerful blogging tools at your disposal, you'll be able to share content, categorize posts, schedule publishing and more. You can also easily display posts from your social profiles directly on your website and push content from your favourite social channels automatically. Want to sell products from your site? Squarespace comes with powerful e-commerce capabilities that can be upgraded with additional extensions. These third-party tools let you manage your inventory, promote products, streamline bookkeeping, reconcile and file sales tax, and ship items around the world. Go to squarespace.com for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, Bioneer viewers can get 10% off the purchase of their first website or domain by going to squarespace.com/Bioneer today. A massive thanks once again to Squarespace, and now on with the show. It's our core strength that really suffers from our day-to-day inactivity. If you're mindful of your posture when running, you should be keeping an upright torso, especially if you run in minimal shoes. This requires core stability and great endurance. It's this that will keep your core strong at the end of the day, so you don't put your back out. It will prevent you from slouching when you're tired, and it's crucial for athletes. Running well will teach you correct biomechanics and undo years of sitting, even if you only go once a week. And running can help your performance in other ways too.
In the short term, running helps to deliver oxygen and blood all around the body. This can be a great form of recovery following an intense workout the previous day. It helps to deliver the blood and nutrients to the muscles that need them. At the same time though, the long-term benefits for your circulation are truly amazing. So recent research suggests that training for and running a single marathon can undo up to 4 years worth of arterial aging. More to the point, through a process called angiogenesis, you actually create new blood vessels and increase blood supply to every part of the body. That means more blood and oxygen to the muscles when you're training, therefore improving your performance, plus more blood and oxygen and nutrients to the muscles when you're recovering, therefore helping you to increase hypertrophy and recover faster. And there are even studies suggesting that increased blood supply to a muscle can increase your myonuclei count. That means more protein synthesis, and it means permanently more protein synthesis, because myonuclei stick around, as far as we know, indefinitely.
Then there's the bone mass. Running strengthens the bones and therefore reduces the likelihood of fractures and other injuries. The thing is, this doesn't have to be fast. In fact, many of these benefits will be more pronounced if you run gently. Keep moving and supply the body with more blood and nutrients while you let your mind unwind. And as an added bonus, this is also much easier to be consistent with. And when you hear about tribes of long distance runners like the Tarahumara, it's useful to note that they run gently too. And if you can't run at all for whatever reason, gentle walking will offer many of these same similar benefits. This is also how you prevent many of the negative effects associated with running. Gentle running provides a lower amount of impact. You can mitigate unwanted side effects further by running in minimal footwear and getting off the beaten path. Issues like tight IT bands are the result of running only in straight lines and on flat surfaces. Trail running and cutting around trees will ensure you're moving in all planes of motion and developing a much more rounded and balanced physique. It's about variety.
So if you wear barefoot shoes, like one of these, then there's a few things that happen differently. First of all, there's no heel to toe drop. This forces you to land with the ball of the foot more, the midfoot, as you're running. This places the foot under the center of the gravity, and it allows your knee to bend properly to absorb the impact, making it less jarring even when you're running for a long distance. At the same time, the fact that it's much easier to feel the ground underneath you gives you more proprioceptive feedback, so you can avoid twisting your ankle because you can feel what's on the ground underneath you. This also makes running a much more sensory rich and stimulating process. At the same time, the wider toe box and the malleability of the shoe, try not to touch it too much because it's really muddy, means that your foot can actually contour to the ground underneath you. So if your toes were to land into a little hole, for example, they would splay out and widen and bend to fit into that hole. Of course, running outside also means you get all the benefits that come from being outside, such as the sunlight exposure for increased vitamin D, stronger bones, etc. And the ground is softer. Although it's not as straight and flat, the fact that it's a bit softer thanks to mud or grass means it will absorb the impact slightly, and that makes it easier on the knees and joints as well.
These are just some of the reasons that I've worn exclusively barefoot shoes for the last 3 years. Just be sure to ease into it gently. Gentle running also has countless cognitive benefits. We all know that exercise can improve memory and brain plasticity, but most studies suggest that cardio is the most effective in this regard, likely due to the increased blood flow. You're literally routing more power to the brain. Running also stimulates the release of endorphins, creating the runner's high and improving general mood.
And fans of Dr. Andrew Huberman may have heard him talk about something called optic flow. Basically, this is a process through which your brain needs to calculate what's going on when it gets all that visual information as you walk or run. So as it sees objects flying past your field of view, it needs to work out whether they're moving, whether you're moving, or whether both are moving. It needs to work out how fast you're going. And all of this can kind of hack the brain into a state of calm. It's like a form of forced meditation. And this has even shown promise in some studies in treating people with PTSD. So this is a great way, if you struggle to get into a calm, Zen-like state with regular meditation, to kind of hack that process and get yourself nice and calm. Then there's the well-documented notion that running in particular can encourage the release of endorphins, such as serotonin, the feel-good hormone. We don't know exactly why this is. Possibly it's to do with all of that extra blood flow to the brain, but the bottom line is it puts you in a state of calm and good mood. So it's a brilliant way to just de-stress, especially after a tough week.
And route finding is brilliant for brain plasticity. Just ask a taxi driver. Here's all you really need to know. Both Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan ran every single day during their primes. Enough said, right?
As you can see, there are tons of reasons to run every single week, and you don't have to worry about getting better at running if that's not your goal, or even losing weight. This is just an all-round great thing to do for your health. You can take it nice and slow. Hope you found this video useful and interesting, guys. If you did, then please leave a like and share it around. That helps me out immensely. Subscribe if you want more like this, and be sure to check out Super Functional Training, my ebook and training program, in the description down below if you're interested in improving your all-round health and performance. Thanks for watching this one, guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now. You start speeding up.
You'll be like running and getting dizzy.
What's happening to this guy?